You ever find yourself scrolling late at night and you stumble upon one of those stories that makes you get up and check your locks? These so-called true scary stories, they're a huge deal online. But what exactly makes them work so well? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and dissect the anatomy of modern fear.
Just let that line sink in for a second. It comes from this story about a Walmart employee who's being stalked for hours. She ends up hiding in an employee's only dairy cooler, thinking she's safe, only to look up and find her pursuer standing right there over her, smiling. It's just a moment of pure, undiluted terror.
So what is it about these stories that gets so deep under our skin? Why do these tales of creepy encounters in totally normal places get millions and millions of views? It's a really good question. And believe me, the answer is a lot more interesting than just a simple jump scare.
Yeah, it turns out this isn't random at all. There's actually a blueprint for this kind of fear. A really specific 3-part formula that the best of these stories use to totally hijack our sense of security and just stick with us. Okay, let's dive into this and break that formula down piece by chilling piece.
All right, part 1. The first, and honestly maybe the most important ingredient in this whole recipe is the setting. The terror has to invade a place that we completely, 100% trust.
I mean, think about it. A creepy old mansion, that's supposed to be scary, right? But your grandma's house, the high school you walked through every single day, a brightly lit 24-hour Walmart, these are our safe zones. And when something goes horribly wrong there, it hits this nerve, this very modern fear that our personal sanctuaries, they're not so sacred anymore.
And this table just lays it all out perfectly. Each of these stories, they take a place of comfort and then they just systematically violate it. The threat isn't hiding in some dark forest. No, it's at the bedroom window. It's in the vents right above you. It's waiting for you when you get home. And that's exactly what makes the fear feel so plausible, Like it could happen to us.
So, once that safe space has been shattered, the formula introduces its second key ingredient, the villain. And in these stories, the monster isn't a demon or a ghost. Nope, it's a person. And that right there is what makes it so much scarier.
This line, wow. It's from the story of Nicholas, a college freshman who thinks he's just meeting up with a girl from the Hinge dating app. But instead, this strange older man shows up, pretending to be her dad. It is a classic, terrifying setup, using this disguise of normalcy to try and lure someone into a really dangerous situation.
What's so powerful here is how you can literally watch the dread build, minute by minute. It kicks off at 9 p.m. with a simple dating app meetup, something millions of us do. But by 9:30, Nicholas is being followed on foot. And by 10 p.m., it explodes into this direct, violent threat through a text message. This isn't some old-timey ghost story. It's a total nightmare rooted in the very real anxieties of digital trust and the tech we use every single day.
And these human monsters, they don't all look the same. You've got the impersonator, right? Like the stalker at Walmart who lies and says he's Tom from corporate just to disarm his victim. But then you have the overt aggressor, the guy who screams at a customer over a laptop and then follows him home. Both of them prey on our fears about public trust, and they shatter social rules using either deception or just brute force to get to the same terrifying goal.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most crucial element of the whole formula, the secret sauce, really. The power of what is left unsaid. The true horror is almost always in the questions that never get answered. This moment from the janitor's story in the high school basement is an absolute masterclass in suspense. He sees this cloth-covered figure moving, but he never, ever finds out who or what was under it. The story doesn't solve the mystery, it just lets it hang there in the air, forcing our own minds to do all the heavy lifting. This all comes down to something called the principle of ambiguity. Basically, by not revealing the monster's identity or what they want, the storyteller turns our own minds into the most effective horror-generating machine on the planet. Our imagination will always cook up something way more terrifying and personal than any writer ever could.
I mean, just think back on the stories. We never find out who that old woman at the grandma's house was. We have no idea what the guy in the school air vents wanted. We don't know if Stephanie from the dating app was even real or just bait. And how in the world did that guy at Walmart just erase security footage? See, the lack of answers, that's the whole point. Our brains are wired to find patterns, and when a story leaves a big, empty space, we fill it with our own worst fears. It's why these tales stick with you.
So, we've broken down all the individual pieces. Now, let's put it all back together and look at the complete formula for viral terror.
When you boil it all down, it's a pretty simple but incredibly effective three-step process. First, you ground the story in a normal place we all recognize. Second, you make the threat a dangerously unpredictable person. And third, you end it without giving us all the answers. That combination creates this really potent kind of fear that feels super personal and disturbingly real.
And this is why it all matters. This formula works so well right now because it taps directly into our biggest modern fears. The vulnerability that comes with sharing our location online, the feeling that safe public spaces are disappearing, and that terrifying thought that the basic rules of human behavior can be shattered in an instant.
Across all 6 stories we've looked at today, there's not a single ghost, not one demon, nothing supernatural at all. The terror is 100% human. Their power comes from that chilling thought that this isn't fantasy. This could actually happen.
So kind of leaves you with this one final, unsettling thought, doesn't it? In our hyper-connected world, where strangers can find us with a single click, maybe the most terrifying monster isn't some ancient evil, but the person on the other side of the screen who already knows exactly where you are.